My name is Ryder, and in this video, I'll be telling you a story about an average soldier and a not-so-average artifact of World War I. But what connects the two will both surprise you and teach you a thing or two about Canada's role in the war. When you think about World War I, you may think about war heroes or heroic movies about brave soldiers who win the war. But it wasn't those figures that changed the war. It was the privates or the unremembered lieutenants that led their battalion to victory. Ibbotson Leonard was one of those Canadian men. Remembered only by a few documents in his family, this story is one of many that make Canada the place it is today. London, Ontario in the early 1900s was a much different place to what it is now, and when the war broke out in 1914, most Canadian men aged from 17 to 32 were sent overseas to fight in the Great War. Ibbotson had a job as an engine manufacturer which him and his brother had worked ever since they were young. Although, within a few months of the Austrian Duke's assassination, him and his brother were enlisted to the CEF on March 31st, 1915. He was originally assigned to the 24th Battalion, where he would serve as a major until 1916, when he would be demoted and assigned to lead a cavalry regiment called the Canadian Light Horse. In World War I, living conditions were nothing but atrocious, and life on the Western Front moved quickly. Long, tragic days turned into months, and what seemed like just to be yesterday had already been 3 years in the past. After constant movement, Ibbotson and his brother were finally reunited to serve at Vimy Ridge with the Canadian Light Horse. The battle had just begun, but within just hours, Ibbotson's only family in the war had died. Since trenches were packed and battlefields were usually covered in smoke, Ibbotson probably did not know of his brother's passing until the battle had concluded. He must have known that there was no time to worry or wonder, because Ibbotson went on to lead and command his brave cavalry throughout the battle. Since the semaphore flag was the #1 way of communication during World War I, it is possible that a signaller could have communicated with Ibbotson that Canadians were advancing to enemy lines. Due to this message, he could have led his cavalry on top of the ridge to charge into enemy trenches. This act was shown by most Canadian troops and is the main reason why the battle is significant to Canadian history. The flag in Ibbotson represented the ingenuity and bravery of Canadian soldiers. And the battle was said to be when Canada felt they were truly an independent nation. This is a replica of the semaphore flag that I mentioned in my story. You can communicate every number and every letter using these two flags. Much like the story I just told, important messages were passed on through the semaphore system. The reason this flag was the #1 way of communication in the war was due to the fact that messages could be relayed miles in a matter of minutes with the help of some telescopes. The flag was commemorated as the language of the Great War. Today, this flag is only a reminder of the young soldiers' drive and innovation which led Canada to the place it is today.